Hello everyone, this is Daniel, and I will be talking about um, who is rather weak and who is rather strong. So, um, anyway, what type of person really is weak? Doesn't have all the features that are basically necessities, but who? Okay, so who is weak and is basically a fancy and all right. So who is weak and who has a lot of features who are not necessary and basically they go about basically talking about all the cool stuff they have been through and all that. Who's basically weak, and then who's strong in Christ, who are basically basic people, but are basically strong people, because those basic people are just basically basic designs of God, and they're like a simple design that is not fancy, but functions perfectly. But a person who has a lot of features and a lot of mechanical cool features, those are the type of people that tend to be weak because they've had so many flaws and so many things they've been through because they're so fancy that they could mess up one way or another. And you know, the more things you have in life, the more things you have, the more strengths you have, the more battles you've won, the more scars you have in life, the more amazing things you've done, the more strong you seem, the more lives you've won, the weaker you are in heaven, in the afterlife. But the more basic you are, the more you act towards God, and you basically the less people you save, but you have saved some people, the stronger you are. And basically, some of the people that you've saved go towards the people that you've saved. They will also save other people like you did, and you'll become the greatest example that everyone will ever have. Because Jesus was one of the examples of a really strong God that became his own weakness, because he has no weaknesses, but Jesus was his own weakness on the cross. But he became weakness for us, so he could become sin for us. And his life is not fun. Let me tell you that. But then there was David. He had so many strengths and accomplishments that when he became king, he had a stressful life on earth. And, he had so many weaknesses that he didn't know what to do with himself. Then there was the fact that Paul considered himself the least of God's children because he had so many accomplishments and he had so many miracles. Peter had done so many miracles, and he had done so many miracles in the Bible, as in literature miracles, that unfortunately he considers himself the least of the people. David may be, God's favorite child, but he is also one of the least of the people because, he may have created so many psalms, but he is by far not God's greatest, but God's favorite. You may be God's favorite, but you can also be the least. Abraham Lincoln had so many success stories, but he had such a stressful life. He had such a harsh life from beginning to end that he'd rather leave for heaven. He just he was always solemn and disappointed and kind of sad about his own life, even though he was the greatest president, in my opinion. He's always so sad because there were so many people that were not as good as he was with wisdom, and people would always abuse him for his wisdom because he was always commenting about his wisdom. And so did Solomon. Solomon had such wisdom, but he was always so sad. So let me tell you this way. The more strengths you have, the weaker you will be. The more of the more you become like a homeless person or not a special person, and the more you become so much of a seemingly weak person, the more basic you are, the more bland you are, the much stronger you are. So this is my video right now, and I'll be done. I'll be done now. Okay. All right. I'll be done now. All right. Bye.